Greetings once again. This is Interesting Ideas. My name is Stan Houston, and we welcome you to the conversation on how to be a person of real class. And today I want to have a couple of stories and perhaps just a little meditative reading, just kind of something to make us think a little bit quieter, because oftentimes Thursday's been kind of a turbulent day. And so with your permission, we're going to do just that. We're going to be talking about some people who in the midst of chaos, they find how to have real class. And we'll give you an indication of how you just might do that. That's Interesting Ideas for a Thursday, and the program begins right now. Well, I'm going to start with a very cute story. It's a nice story. It makes us feel really good. But at the same time, it helps us to understand where we get so bogged down in who we are and the way things are that we forget how to be humane and smart and classy and calm. Here we go. This just came out a couple days ago, and it has a wonderful picture of a young policeman, and he's helping an older man walk with his cane. Here's the story. It's reported earlier today that officers responded, and this is from Montebello, the Montebello Police Department in Montebello, California. And the officers responded to the Bank of America in Montebello regarding a patron who was causing a disturbance. Oh my goodness, what's that all about? Upon the officers' arrival, they discovered that a 92-year-old man was trying to withdraw money from his account. However, his California identification card was expired. And per the bank's policy, because his identification card was expired, they were unable to fulfill his request. The older gentleman was really upset, and very upset. Why couldn't he get his money? He had an ID card, and the people in the bank called the police. Once officers arrived, Officer Robert Jossett decided to take the man to the DMV in town to help him renew his identification card. And with the assistance of the DMV, his identification card was renewed, and the police officer then took him back to the bank, at which time he was able to withdraw money from his account. The old man thanked Officer Jossett and went on his way. What a class guy. Of course. Solved. But as great a story as that is, you kind of wonder, what were the bank people thinking? I mean, he had an ID card, but it was expired, so he can't get his money. Hey, just think what great publicity the Bank of America local branch could have had if perhaps one of the tellers or bank officers had done just exactly what the police officer did. Take him to the local DMV, get a new ID card, take him back and give him his money and wish him the best. What class? Everything's calm. The chaos is turned into a total moment of human kindness and true class. Great story. So perhaps you want to look it up, and it's a wonderful, wonderful story. Okay, now, the thing I've been asking you about, and we talked a little bit about it the last couple of days, is in the midst of the chaos that's going on, in the midst of the age of rage, as some people call it, who are the people who truly exhibit class? So what I'd like to do today is try and give another little short perspective to it. The people who have real class are oftentimes the people in leadership. And this is one of my coaching ideas. And it's not original with me. I borrowed it, maybe even stole it. But I can always borrow good ideas. And I always give people credit for it. So my friend David McKnight taught me the NAP, what I call the NAP principle. And he shares with me, he's kind of a fellow business coach, that he was working with a gentleman who knew the rumors were all about that there might be some layoffs. Sounds familiar. And so he was asking David, he said, how do I handle this? I know that there probably is going to be some, but we don't know how or who or when. What am I supposed to do? And he simply said, your job right now is to communicate non-anxious presence. Have the class to communicate non-anxious presence. And be very present to your people. Listen to them. You don't have to inform them or agree with them, because if you're smart, you will always use the words where it's appropriate. Well, I really don't know. I really don't know. And that's a true statement. You don't know the details. You certainly know the rumors as well as they know them, and you may have a little more inside information. But right now, non-anxious presence. Keep calm. Well, if I can do that by doing this, I've written a book to be. It's been something I've been writing for 15 years, and maybe I'll publish it sometime, but it's actually quite good. And it's a series of 15 chapters on how to be a business performance coach. It's called The Coaching Experience, and it's still in process, and maybe sometime before I die. And tomorrow I celebrate a significant 7 birthday, so that might be fairly soon, so I better get after it. But it's a way to be a coach, and you already have one client. Guess who that one client is? You. The first person you have to learn to coach is you. And then you are able to demonstrate the things that you talk about, because you've already gone through the process of doing exactly what you're asking them to do. The coach has been coached. The reason the coach has the ideas is because the coach learned them and practiced them and now is trying to share them with others. And so what I did is I went through the 7 good things that can happen to you if you really have good and profound performance coaching, not counseling. I recently came across a book called, The Mastery of Coaching, and it wasn't a coaching book at all. It was a fraud. It was a counseling book. It was a book about counseling people who have troubles and bad situations. And coaching is not just for people who have troubles and situations. In fact, as a coach, there were a number of people which I said, I can't help you. I think you need a professional counselor. And I'm not a professional counselor. I'm a business performance coach. I'm not a life coach. I'm a business performance coach, and I'm kind of an overeducated disc jockey. I might be able to help you, but I think you need to find a counselor, somebody who can help you there. We're trying to help you improve your performance, not necessarily to change or improve you. Perhaps improve your performance, and that may require you improve you, but that's a different goal. But here's what can happen to you and for you if you become a coach to yourself. And so here is what I'm going to suggest. The last one that you would have is the S word, serenity. Serenity is the personal power to be, the personal power to be at peace. And so, in the second part of our little 20-minute conversation, I'd like to tell you on this Thursday what that might be like. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas. Thank you for taking time. Remember, if you take 20 minutes every day to learn something new, it'll go well for you. You might even be a world-class expert in a few years. Just think about that. We'll be right back. And now here we go. And this is actually from my coaching book. And so it goes back a few years, but the book and the story is timeless. Here's what I write. The seventh state is one we would all love to possess. And in some cases, it actually comes to us. It is serenity. Serenity is to be unaffected by disturbance, tranquil, unruffled, and calm. And you know what? There's an old essay that gives a feeling description of the serenity state. And it's from a wonderful book called The Majesty of Calmness. Now, please write that down so you can Google it and get a copy. The Majesty of Calmness by William George Jordan. Here's what he says. Calmness is the rarest quality in human life. It is the poise of a great nature, in harmony with itself and its ideals. It is the moral atmosphere of life self-centered, self-reliant, and self-controlled. Calmness is singleness of purpose, absolute confidence, and conscious power, ready to be focused in an instant to meet any crisis. Now the man, please keep in mind, this was written many years ago. The man who is calm has his course in life clearly marked on his chart. His hand is over the helm. Storm, fog, night, tempest, danger, hidden reefs. He is ever prepared and ready for them. He is made calm and serene by the realization that in these crises of his voyage, he needs a clear mind and a cool head. That he has not to do but to do each day the best he can by the light he has. That he will never flinch or falter for a moment. That though he may have to tack and leave his course for a time, he will never drift. He will get back into the true channel. He will keep ever headed toward his harbor. When he will reach it, how he will reach it, matters not to him. He rests in calmness, knowing he has done his best. If his best seem to be overthrown or overruled, then he must still bow his head in calmness. To no man is permitted to know the future of his life, the finality. God commits to man ever only new beginnings, new wisdom, and new days to use to the best of his knowledge. Calmness comes ever from within. It is the peace and restfulness of the depths of our nature. The fury of storm and of wind agitate only the surface of the sea. They can penetrate only 200 or 300 feet. Below that is the calm, unruffled deep. To be ready for the great crises of life, we must learn serenity in our daily living. Calmness is the crown of self-control. When the worries and cares of the day fret you and begin to wear upon you, and you chafe under the friction, be calm. Stop. Rest for a moment and let calmness and peace assert themselves. If you let these irritating outside influences get the better of you, you are confessing your inferiority to them by permitting them to dominate you. Study the disturbing elements, each by itself. Bring all the willpower of your nature to bear upon them, and you will find that they will, one by one, melt into nothingness, like vapors fading before the sun. The glow of calmness that will then pervade your mind, the tingling sensation of an inflow of new strength, may be to you the beginning of the revelation of the supreme calmness that is possible for you. Then, in some great hour of your life, when you stand face to face with some awful trial, when the structure of your ambition and life work crumbles in a moment, you will be brave. You can then fold your arms calmly, look out undismayed and undaunted upon the ashes of your hope, upon the wreck of what you have faithfully built, and with a brave heart and unfaltering voice you may say, "So let it be. I will build again." That is serenity, and that is the goal of the seventh state of what I call the coaching experiment. Please keep in mind, I would like very much for you to think about those things. Take time to see if they can mean something to you. And so I kind of finish with another analogy that I love, and that is the analogy of the cowboy walking tall. People like the people who have calmness also have poise, and they're like the old Western movie characters. They walk tall. They are calm, and they bring courage and encouragement to others. Poise fights fear and can lead to high performance. There's an old prayer that goes, "Lord, deliver me from all fretfulness." That's poise. To build your own business, market you, and to be a better you, seek to be a person of poise and walk tall. Calmness, the majesty of it. And that, my friends, is a description of real class. Just some interesting ideas today. I'm Stan Houston. Thank you for your time. Just under 20 minutes. Tomorrow I flow into a significant 777 birthday, and I might tell you a little bit about that. It will be my last birthday. And indeed, I'll tell you the fun story about that. If you'd like to know more about how I can help you, please reach out to me. Again, I'm stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. My life is one of leading an experimental life and helping you do just the same in your life and business. And so if you have an experience or an experiment or something you'd like to get better at, something you'd like to learn, something you would like to improve on, something about the way you perform, we can help you. Just, again, reach out to me. We have all kinds of interesting ideas to help you. stanhouston@gmail.com. stanhouston@gmail.com. By the way, if you would like a copy of that wonderful little exercise called the Majesty of Calmness, by the way, you can Google it and get it. And as I said, the man's name, okay, we got that now, William George Jordan, The Majesty of Calmness. Just a little book. And it's one of the best things you can read and think about and carry with you for a good long time. Thank you so much. Again, all the best and blessings to you, a true benediction upon you, and may it go well for you. I'm Stan. Bye for now.